do you know what is GM food?
Yeah, I think I know what GM food. I think they are like genetically modified to increase like pest resistance.
Sizes of the food.
Yeah.
Maybe like corn, potato, whatever.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cherries. Strawberries. Strawberries.
So do you guys know what is the harmful effects of GM food?
I've heard of some, like for example they put say peanut extract into making a corn look better, look bigger, then people who are allergic to peanut do not know that it's in a corn and they consume the corn, then they get allergic reaction.
Yeah, sometimes they add like maybe a pest resistant gene, but then that gene is actually can cause allergy in some people when they eat them accidentally because they don't know that the gene is inside that food or something.
Do you know how to distinguish between a GM food and a non-GM food?
Not really.
Not really, unless they say
The world population increases by 1 billion every 13 years, and more food is needed to feed this increasing population. The world thinks that the solution is GM food, but how true is that?
First, let's take a look at what are genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified foods are those whose genes have been altered using genetic engineering techniques. Instead of the usual farming procedure, scientists cut genes and inject it into animals and crops. They identified desirable traits from crops, transferring these traits and introducing them into the DNA of the GMOs. For example, the Arctic flounder fish has the ability to withstand extreme temperature. As a result, to produce crops that are resistant to cold weather, researchers have extracted the fish genes and injected the desired traits into tomatoes. Scientists advocate the use of GM food due to the many benefits, one of which is preventing the destruction of crops caused by insect infestation. According to biotech industry, crops have been genetically altered to be herbicide and insect resistant. This thus leads to an increase in crop yield. With that, farmers can reduce production costs and earn more money. Advancement in technology have resulted in super crops, flood-tolerant rice, drought-tolerant maize, and pest-resistant chickpeas.
Despite its numerous benefits, anti-GMO activists argue that GMO food brings about risks impacting the environment and human health. Once genetic engineering has been carried out on organisms and released into the environment, we have lost our control on science, and this is an irreversible process. Cross-pollination is uncontrollable and leads to contamination of organic and natural crops. Transfer of herbicide-resistant genes passed on to weeds from GM crops create super weeds that are resistant to pesticides. Through the introduction of a new and improved gene into the crop, allergic reaction can occur to individuals. Life-threatening allergies can be developed, and this is happening to many children in US and Europe today. To add on, the consumption of GM food could have unforeseen adverse health effects on consumers. Scientists are still unable to debunk the mystery whether the insertion of genes into our crops produces side effects.
A recent article published in Lancet examined the effects of GM potatoes on the digestive tracts in rats. This study claimed that there were appreciable differences in the intestines of rats fed GM potatoes and rats fed unmodified potatoes.
There have been many ethical controversies on scientific advances. We are now moving from natural farming methods to modifying the genes of our food. There are people that see this as a way of revolutionizing the food that we eat. However, most critics hold the view that the route towards GMOs is an illustration of science going out of control. Phil Angel, Monsanto's Director of Corporate Communications, stated that Monsanto should not have to vouchsafe the safety of their biotech food. Their interest is only in selling as much of it as possible. Assuring its safety is the FDA's job. Such profit-driven businesses are not interested in the possible consequences of such technology, but rather focuses on the money that they can earn. Hence, they will do anything to protect their businesses, including keeping secrets from the world. There are few reliable and neutral studies that are kept secret. Monsanto, a leading agricultural firm that produces GM seeds, only released the results of one study after Greenpeace took legal action to force the firm's hand. In the study, rats were fed a strain of GM corn called MON863. According to Greenpeace, the animals then displayed symptoms of poisoning and liver and kidney damage. Some critics believe genetically altered food could also cause cancer or infertility. Without sufficient tests on the possible side effects on people, they carelessly introduce GM food to the world without properly acknowledging its consequences.
Science should not be allowed to develop into a weapon. We should be responsible in terms of developing technology that benefit the world, instead of our own. Forcing technology on a world that is not ready for such advancements may ultimately lead to self-destruction. The uncomfortable truth is that world hunger is an issue of misallocation of resources. If we were to distribute the world's food supply equally, there is more than enough to circulate around. Hence, GMOs are not the solution for agricultural sustainability. Food security can actually be addressed by more natural methods. In order to feed the world's increasing population in a sustainable way, we should focus instead in other research areas of plant science,